Hello, beautiful souls, made of love and light. Welcome to another session dedicated to the crystal ashes pages and much more. This session was created a month ago. I've been working on it and have realized that it is a session that speaks about the past, the present, and the future. It was a pleasure to put it all together. It was a pleasure to experience all of this. Today, it is the 15th of October 2023. We had a super Friday the 13th. We had a spectacular October 14th, new energies dropping down, filling our inner selves with the energy, the most pure energy of creation, in order for us all together be able to co-create with these energies and help Mother Earth to rise up the frequency more and more as we go into this ascension process that is becoming more interesting by the day. I'm not here to talk about my journey and my process. For that, if you want to leave a comment, it's up to you. What I will say is that you better prepare yourself, because this session will impact more than one in very different ways, and it can provide some beautiful ascension symptoms that can get scary. You just have to think that fear is the mind killer. So if it is the mind killer, we don't think about it and we clear it. That's why we will finish this session with clearing fears exercise, the antidote to mind control. Yes, and this session is all about that, dedicated to mind control, seeing the parts of you that are being controlled, not just the mind. It can include also the body, through the many disharmonic, artificial, man-made frequencies that are in your home, you carry with you in your pocket, and they will affect your vital life force. It's a matter of analogy. Once you introduce analogy into your life, everything changes drastically. Yeah, it's true. Just give it a shot and you will see. So today's session is dedicated to dark arts training. See what's going in your mind. What is affecting your mind? If it is something affecting your mind, maybe nothing is affecting your mind. It's up to you to decide. It's up to you to check it out, because once in a while one should really check it out with himself and the guides and the information that one is receiving. even though it may seem really beautiful and magnificent, and it's getting like an ecstasy momentum growing up in your body. It may be artificial, so check it out with yourself. And today we are going to speak about it. But before that, we will start with step 1 of the agreement and request for intercession. Just to create a space in order to not get molested by these artificial man-made frequencies. So we create a space and we create our connection with unity, consciousness, God Source, the guardians, your higher selves, and families of light. All of them here summoned, gathered with us in this multidimensional call for assistance. Because even though they are here to assist us, we are here to also do our best. Each other to do our best, to be the best version of ourselves each day. So if you want to close your eyes and take some deep inhale through your nose, thinking about all the worries that are out there for you, not for the planet, for you. What is bothering you, just take it in, and in your breath out, let go of it all and connect to the heart of the earth. Just put it all there to be transmuted and renewed in order for us to take those energies and co-create a new reality with each breath in feel all of your body. With each breath out, feel all of your body letting go of the stress. You can stretch a little bit. Just let it all out and prepare yourself to receive your higher self, your God self. Step 1. The agreement and request for intercession. State it out loud, please. I, Rafael José Lopes Ferreira, choose fully the authority of God's laws and that which serves the light of truth. I commit to my healing and request guardian intercession on my behalf to restore the correct proportions of my manifestation body to the eternal perpetual supply of the God Source. I am God, I am sovereign, and I am free. I promise to fully participate in my relationship to healing my body and commit to the processes set forth in partnership with God Source and Guardian alignment through the Crystal Aegis sponsorship. I state my intention of self-sovereignty through the Unity Vow as a handshake, which allows God Source and its crystal guardians to surround and protect me. Feel your guardians surrounding you, protecting you. And now, the group Unity Vow Decree defender warriors of truth, sovereignty, liberation, guardian races, serving the One. From across all the multiverse, I call upon you to join me now. My unification principle is demonstrated in the waves of omni-love. I sound my heart note to you now. My template updated, individually and collectively, renewed, and forever perpetuated in the eternally sustained light. My body and being is consecrated and dedicated to the purpose of One, and I endeavor to be the knower of God, to then be the way shower of God. Please sustain me in the eternal power of my original God consecration. I have asked for intervention in order to hold my highest purposes in the service to the One Light, the living light code. My intention is unification, the cosmic Christ principle as an energetic reality here and now. I request this handshake to fortify my spiritual links through the universal cosmic triad and into the core of One, the zero-point God matrix, that which is the source of my genesis. It is with deep reverence for all of life, dear God, that I ask you to breathe your life codes into my created form. I set my intention now to remember what I am, fully, completely, and totally. I am ready to go beyond the fear and shadow to fulfill God's plan on earth and beyond. I state my mutual purpose as One. Please resurrect my body and being into the organic patterns of the One organic, living light now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is, lovingly decreed. It will be another long session, so prepare yourselves. Have some water with you and some time to be relaxed and ready to receive dark arts training. We will start with Time Shift Block. From Liza Renee. Sense Late 2012. The human body is much more vulnerable to being used as a potential dark portal of invasion by outer dark forces. We have witnessed a gradual progression of those undergoing forms of spiritual possession as the individual becomes consubstantial to the collective unconsciousness forces that make up the predator mind. These are dark force gestalts of the predatorial mind, which use the 1D red waves, low energy quality that is represented by the satanic entities or related dark forces such as AI hybrids that also exist in the galactic timeline layers and have been feeding upon those same hierarchies for eons. See Houses of Ego and NAA. Additionally, the phenomenon of dark portaling is being exacerbated from alterations being made in the magnetic and gravitational fields of the Earth, which results in the further dissolution of the layers that make up the dimensional membranes. Essentially, what used to be several separated fish tanks comprising the dimensional membranes that form into timelines have gradually been consolidated into one vast fish tank where all timelines are intersecting and converging into one timeline where all the contents from these other dimensional realities are now shared and swimming together freely. This has both positive impacts and negative impacts to those that remain unprepared to deal with these new forces entering their personal reality. Many people at different stages of awakening are undergoing their next stage of dark arts training, which radically shifts one's consciousness perception. 3D humans that have not developed strong impulse control and have not cleared negative ego's automatic thoughts are at higher risk for being used as a dark portal, especially when they go unconscious and allow anger, rage, and hostility to be expressed as violent impulses reverberating throughout their mind and body. This negative ego distortion is used to hijack unaware human beings into further states of mental body fragmentation. This can be remedied through the intention to connect with the inner spirit and loving heart through consistent meditation, prayer, and self-inquiry in order to remain in the present time as the conscious observer or compassionate witness to outer events. It is suggested that we each do our best to stay out of lower forms of reactivity, mental looping, and negative emotions with a victimizer's signature. These direct our consciousness into the lower harmonics and become self-reinforcing, creating a vulnerability that negative forces can take advantage of. The consequences of hijack and possession are heartbreaking to witness and difficult to recover from. For this reason, when experiencing periods of energetic pressure or heightened life stress, it is often helpful to return to basics. The Crystal Aegis site was created for this purpose, to focus on building a strong core and foundation to support inner peace and balance during these challenging times. Dark arts training. This term refers to a period in your life where you are pushed, usually through some sort of suffering, to go beyond your current frame of reference in order to fully comprehend what is happening to you. People at this stage may start to register there are energetic forces around them or influencing them, and that awareness can be felt or sensed in different ways. Sometimes this means pulling back the veil that hides negative alien interference in human evolution. Some people may use a religious context and call these dark forces by different names, not aware that devil or Satan can also be used to describe non-human alien entities. Still, there are many people in the spiritual community that refuse to look deeper at the plausibility of non-human entities influencing human civilization and the current agendas of genetic modification of the human race for the purpose of the NAA's global enslavement agenda. Some common themes in this type of dark arts initiations are having a first-hand experience with extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional beings, clearly not human in nature. Having an awareness of entity attachments or alien implants appearing in your peripheral vision or light body. Having people around you used as dark portal puppets with entity attachments to incite chaos and derail your awakening. Having an unexplained illness that cannot be sourced, sensing something unseen is draining your life force. Having sudden awareness of thoughts that are not your own, with mental looping increasing fear and addiction states. See mind control. Having a series of betrayals with close relationships that damage trust and leave you feeling totally bewildered. Having a total dismantling, losing partner, job, housing, car, and friends all at once. Rather than feel victimized by these events, this is the time to take 100% responsibility for your own spirit, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This is the time to build your spiritual house and develop some energetic muscle and meditation skill. This phase usually requires that we educate ourselves about true Earth and galactic history and go through a type of cosmic reorientation process. If you don't have an accurate assessment of the many forces operating on Earth at this time, it is very difficult to navigate. This is the purpose of my online pet project, the Ascension Glossary, to help others make sense of their awakening experiences and find some answers during their dark arts training phase of spiritual ascension. One of the most common reactions is for people to seek an outside quick fix, to have entities removed or implants extracted by a third party. There may be times when this can be helpful, but ultimately, comprehending these dark forces and doing it yourself is the most beneficial. Until you build your spiritual house and command your space, these quick fixes will not last. See the April 2015 newsletter, Single Soul Occupancy. Dark arts training as a way of showing us where our strengths and weaknesses are. At this time, there is only knowing. There is no room for rationalization stemming from denial or attempting to think your way into a mentally perceived resolution. The rubber meets the road and we are forced to walk our talk, having been prepared to face the mysteries of the unknown standing before us. To be congruent with our soul purpose embodiment requires being in our core no matter what the external environment is doing or telling us to do. As we become an observer, we will feel an ease of flow and an organic expression. However, to get to the ease of flow, one has to completely let go without the ego attachment needing to control the outcome or result. This necessitates holding the observer consciousness, one that can observe the events without imposing judgment or attachment to the end result. As you come to comprehend that larger playing field and learn how to 12 the shield, how to scan and clear harmful energies as a daily practice, your life changes dramatically. There is really no going back to seeing the world as you did before. Dark arts training is typically a huge turning point in one's life. May love guide your heart. Liza. Source: ES Newsletter, Portals of Consciousness. And now, let's dive in. Single Soul Occupancy. Liza Renee, 2015 newsletter excerpt. Yes, we will look into just one small portion. If you want to read it all, you know where to find it. Dear Ascending Family, we live in a multidimensional world with every kind of spirit force one could imagine. With each successive portal opening, membranes that used to separate realities are collapsing, and more beings are sharing space with us. There are new levels of support for those of us on the path with this understanding and context. This newsletter will serve as an entity primer, discussing the necessity of single soul occupancy with some suggested tools for spiritual deliverance. The good news is that recent changes in the architecture have made the extraction of parasites and entities that have been plaguing this planet much easier. Since December's major portal opening, we have undergone sequential events that have radically shifted the universal geomantic structure. This is the architecture linking celestial bodies, constellations, and stars with our planet. During the Easter weekend, transmissions activated the planetary body to communicate with the intelligent living matrix of the Canis Major constellation and the Sirius star system. This activated previously dormant or corrupted communication links and ley line networks into the planetary body. These new links cannot be circumvented by alien machinery or their synthetic timelines. These triad communication networks are analogous to dropping a new intergalactic wireless internet hookup from Sirius B and the massive Sirius Sun into the planetary body. The main axis of this network was placed in the 33rd North Parallel Line and is intended as a support for the star seeds that work the grids in service to the cosmic sovereign law. Additionally, this new network supports progress with the alien invasion problem located in the equator line of the planet, with an infestation of nests and phantom wormholes. This is significant because this is a demarcation point in the war over consciousness memories that relate to the future timelines of evolution of the human race on this planet. This planet has been in a war over consciousness memories where the truth of human evolution histories has been erased. This has been done by multiple competing species, with attempts to completely destroy historical records in the timelines by the NAA groups. This phase will reveal more in-depth extraterrestrial involvement with our planet and with humanity. This means that all issues relating to alien mind control, hybridization, abduction, military programs such as my labs, and secret space programs abusing technology, galactic history, underground bases, and the many species interacting with us will be ramped up to the next level of disclosure. We are entering potentially explosive timelines with extraterrestrial disclosure, which opens into this year and ongoing into 2017. As we learn more about multiple species agendas, we must improve energetic discernment of the variety of forces that we interact with. These are both seen and unseen forces that take advantage of our lack of awareness, because we are awakening from the dark aeon of alien hybridization, which is the primary reason for the imprisonment of our consciousness. We must shake off these parasites and reclaim our sovereign right to single soul occupancy. We are providing a basic primer to address the most common issues of parasitism that are the result of alien hybridization, implantation, and genetic manipulation of the consciousness of the human being. Once informed, any person may be empowered to identify and terminate the source of spiritual oppression. Through the law of consent, we can remove its access and influence upon our spiritual bodies. In order to be spiritually freed from mind control and energetic possession, we must comprehend the necessity of commanding our right to sovereign single soul occupancy within our body and energetic aura. The original blueprint for all who incarnate into human bodies on this planet is single soul occupancy. Through the law of consent, it is your sovereign right to command your space and demand single soul occupancy in your body, mind, and consciousness. Single soul occupancy is the original soul matrix design for the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions that unite these three layers into one wholly merged and integrated consciousness within your physical body. Many people on this earth are not single soul occupied and have multiple occupants, soul fragments, attachments, or entities hosting them. How has this happened? The hidden agendas of multiple invading extra-dimensional species include hybridization programs, breeding programs, genetic modification, and manipulation of human DNA. The manipulation of human DNA works both for the genetic enhancement of the preferred bloodlines that are hybridized with primarily reptilian genetics, while others are genetically digressed and dumped down to be a working slave class. Whether a person is abducted and subsequently genetically altered with enhancements to perform certain roles, or digressed in order to be made a spiritual zombie, both methods of genetic modification are the result of the invading species agenda to completely dominate Earth resources. Humans are grouped into the planetary resources as slave labor, replicated into clones, imagined into future synthetic holograms, or used as bargaining tools with other species. As an example, children are coveted for abduction and sold on and off planet for sexual slavery by these NAA groups. This is why sexual slavery is a global epidemic and will not improve until humans realize that sexual misery programs and pedophilia are sourcing from the NAA. This is not human. The primary species that are supported by human hybridization through alien abduction and alien genetic manipulation are varieties of reptoid and insectoid species. Military controllers prefer enhancements with reptilian genetics because the reptoid species have higher psionic abilities, which include remote viewing, astral projection, and shapeshifting. From many years of bloodline and genetic manipulation, many family lines that are subjected to alien abduction and genetic experimentation are recruited into the military for a variety of covert operations. This includes my labs and secret space programs that are ultimately designed to support the archontic deception and negative alien agendas. This is to further enforce human enslavement and thus impose complete ownership over all human beings. Many humans on the earth today are the result of alien hybridization and, as such, have a genetic predisposition that allows them to be a host body for a variety of extra-dimensional entities. When the human has been genetically modified by an alien species, it allows that body to be used as a portal for that alien consciousness. It does not matter what kind of hybridization has occurred. Every being has the right to command single soul occupancy and learn how to rehabilitate their consciousness as a God, sovereign, free being. The key is participating, the law of one, and healing the predator mind that you were downloaded with. NAA Strategic Invasion Methods. We have discussed it many times, the main areas of mind control in the form of psychological and biological warfare used against humanity. The archontic deception strategy is employed to get humans to succumb to ownership by the invading species. The main strategy is to download the predator mind, which is their alien thought form, and hybridize the human body to accept these archontic behaviors as normal and socially acceptable behaviors. The more reptilian genetics you carry, the more acceptable it is to you to deceive, manipulate, take advantage of the less privileged, and even kill, murder, rape, and have sex with children. Total ownership of human beings as personal property and the domination of Earth resources are carried out using these methods. Negative alien agenda uses archontic deception strategy as global policy for mind control enslavement that is enforced by mostly alien hybridized power elite. Human hybridization hosting programs for multiple reptoid species in the underground and off-planet bases. My labs and related secret space programs cooperating with negative aliens that intentionally deceive, manipulate, and experiment on the public. Genetic modification, augmentation, pleomorphic diseases, and technological experimentation with the human genome. Alien machinery implants synthetic timelines, consciousness traps, psychotronic warfare technology, artificial intelligence created from genetic replication and hoarding of off-planet advanced technology, spiritual possession, and multiple occupants of the souls to harvest life force for a variety of NAA purposes on and off planet. law of consent for purposes related to taking back control over one's own mind, body, and spiritual consciousness from the controller humans and negative aliens who have abused the natural law of structure on this planetary body. We are discussing the foundation of the law of consent and its critical importance. The law of consent is important in order to protect your right to self-determination and to reclaim all contents and operations in your body consciousness, as responding only to your personal authority through informed consent. Whether there are inorganic or organic components such as implants, if they are connected to your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, they belong to you. Everything in your body and consciousness belongs to you. Every person has the right to command the authority of every function of the body to be directed only by the inhabitant of that body. Command all contents located in your personal consciousness to be operating only with your full informed consent and authority. Applying this action first in your 12D shield will allow for an easier extraction process to identify and locate alien implants, entities, and spiritual oppressions that need to be removed from your consciousness bodies. What we hold as our intention in our personal thoughts is what we hold as our consent. Most humans are unaware that our thought forms, their vibrational quality and force, as well as the energetic consequence of the thought form substance created, have an impact on the self and others. The sum total of our entire energetic signature is what interfaces with the collective consciousness of the entire planetary body. What we observe today in the global scape is the result of every single person's individual thought forms that make up the collective consciousness body of the Earth. When we pay attention to what is happening on Earth, we can see the snapshot of the vibrational quality of the average collective thought forms, or what human beings are really thinking. What we think is what we create through intent, consent, and structure. The sum total of the energetic intention behind the accumulated thoughts that we have had throughout our lifetime is more important than the plain verbal language used to establish intent, consent, and authority. This means the energy signature of our heart is much more important than the actual words being said. Anyone can say words they do not actually mean. Anyone can be lying and deceiving towards others. The fact we think thoughts automatically under archontic deception, mind control programs means that we have given their thought form our consents even without our conscious participation with intent. This is the main factor in the archontic exploitation of humans through mind control programming. By taking away knowledge of personal intent, they remove personal consent, which is inherent in the laws. When we have no awareness of where our intent and consent is being directed energetically, we are enslaved and accosted by spiritual oppression and possessions. Some of us are aware of these spiritual oppressions, while many humans are completely asleep and unaware that their body is a nest for negative spiritual energetic attachments. Consciously participating. The sum total of our unconscious accumulative vibrational thoughts and spoken words will repress the person's ability to know that they have actually made a choice towards energetic consent. This means a person who is not consciously participating with giving personal consent and authority to their thoughts makes the choice by default through their cumulative frequency resonance. This is an unconscious choice and not just suggested. As an example, this means that if you intentionally deceive another person, you have just given consent to a demonic spirit of the same vibration to attach to your spiritual body and deceive and manipulate you. Intentional lying is the seed of Satanism, which opens the door for this force to attach to you. The weighted average of the sum total of the individual's body, thoughts, emotions, and actions and behaviors equate to an overall frequency resonance. This overall frequency resonance is what decides intent, consent, and structure for that person. This places them in a vibrational timeline and exposes them to matching vibration with other entities and spirit forces. This means consciously participating in disciplining and controlling our inner thoughts is extremely important, as these thoughts accumulate energies to form intent, consent, and authority made under the law. The laws of intent, consent, authority, and structure are purposely hidden from the public and manipulated by the NAA in order to control humans who are not aware of these energetic laws. Therefore, unaware that they can regain personal power and regain control over their spiritual and energetic consciousness through obeying these laws. Through the exploitation of these laws, the NAA and their false father gods have manipulated humanity to be in consent and authority with their negative spirit forces as intermediaries. They have been shaping human culture toward the predator mind. This is accomplished through the many mind control programs, false histories, and false realities that humans are given. Based on these many lies and deceptions, we have been told that the predator mind thought forms are human in origin, thus naturally in the consent and authority with the same predator mind of the NAA groups. When we are being subjected to deception and mind control, our spirit body and consciousness is easily invaded by an array of spiritual oppressions and negative energetic attachments. This is how the NAA control humanity by manipulation of consent in the mind. By removing intentional thoughts and making them automatic reactions in the unconscious mind, they are able to access and occupy the soul. This makes the NAA false gods an intermediary source field imposter spirit for many unsuspecting humans who cannot discern the difference between lies, deception, and truth. When we cannot tell the difference between truth and lies, we are easily manipulated by negative spiritual forces that attach to us and harness our life force. This is just an excerpt. For the full newsletter, visit the Energetic Synthesis website. Yeah, you wanted more, right? Well, you have to go to that Energetic Synthesis website, because we are going to continue with Dark Arts training. And with that, one question lies, which is, where can I start? Suggestions are: take it in at your own pace. However, remain consistent and dedicated with your practice, and you will experience many improvements, such as in mental and emotional freedom. Activate your 12D shield as a daily practice meditation for increasing unity. Clear negative ego, fear programs, and devote practice to stop using emotional manipulation. Mental discipline through devoted, now moment awareness, and using meditation to expand consciousness. Resolve emotional conflicts in the pain body. Be willing to heal the mental and emotional areas of cognitive dissonance. Say what you mean what you say. Find a daily spiritual practice, such as ES Core Triad Daily Techniques. All of these steps are a part of committing to the ES Core Triad practices every day. Oh, you want more? There you go. Educate yourself, auto-refocus your mind, inquiry on attention. What are your beliefs? Critical thinking, personal integrity, building self-esteem. I think you have enough for now. If you work on this, one each day, you will get to the end of the week pretty much okay. Just basics. What we said in the beginning, look into yourself. Look into yourself. Stop looking into what others are doing. Look into yourself, and you will find many more that are practicing these same basic steps, and many more will start to inquire themselves and search for materials like this, where we give you a little bit of approach into what is and what you can do each day to be okay, to be the best version of yourself. That's what we want to see in the world today, right? So, for the ones who want more, here are some guidelines in first triad of evolution phase. This last one, we will take the advantage that we are talking about it to look at it with more depth. So, here it goes. Guidelines in first triad of evolution phases. This is the first triad of spiritual awakening, of which the life lessons are the tests of personal self-mastery, upon where one pays attention and focus on directing one's consciousness. These are intended to support harmony as one develops and expands consciousness. So, ask and inquiry on the way of your soul and its purposes. Listen, learn the language of the heart, which is the soul's higher sensory perception, and take action on the guidance of your soul. Develop your inner connection to soul that supersedes all reliance on the external connections or perceptions of reality. Release fears of being judged by others. Live a life congruent to your soul and its purpose, and that it serves as an example to others. Practice 12D Shield, Law of One, and GSF behaviors. Clear negative ego, fears, and emotional pain in the lower chakra centers. Become aware of the unconscious mind, instinctual mind, and conscious mind functioning. Practice giving unconditional love and compassion to others and learn to love oneself. Educate yourself about the ascension, Kundalini, and the spiritual process of awakening one's consciousness to help clear ego personality fears that create pain and confusion around this natural process. And now, 4 phases of spiritual evolution. As with all energy movement, human spiritual growth has developmental ascension stages of expanding consciousness which proceeded spirally and are non-linear processes. In order to heal our consciousness, we must learn how to feel and develop higher sensory perception. What we see frequently among our starseeds is that many have very advanced areas of being, while also acting out unconsciously or working with some very unevolved or digressed aspects. These digressed parts are from the lack of negative ego or pain body clearing, which manifest as a low self-awareness with even lower personal discernment, which often can place one in a rather skewed trajectory on the spiritual path. Our goal in ES is to learn the path of polarity integration, which allows for an energetically balanced and spiritually integrated and whole being. Without self-judgment, the following may be useful as a tool for self-assessment. One can apply mental focus upon areas of self-development in order to more fully embody the inner light and access the clarity required to know true spiritual expression of purpose. So, 4 consciousness evolution phases and guidelines defined. Phase 1, Soul Awakening. This is the entry into the Kundalini awakening path, which leads into soul evolution and begins ascension awareness. The unfolding and developing of the intellect and awareness into a greater, higher sensory perception or interconnectedness. Discontent and mental confusion over life purpose and personal life direction. Processing inner mental conflict, clearing emotional pain and suffering in the seeking to release the pain body. Emotional healing, responding to the awareness of a greater whole and its purpose within the group called human being and becoming aware of the issues of humanity, develop interest in planetary awareness or world humanism related theory. Conscious mind learns to take control of impulses, uses mental focus to control ego, personality, functions, and move away from destructive habits. Example: law of attraction. Asks for spiritual help from God Source, seeks methods of inner communication or in prayer meditation. Ego personality develops willingness to release personal will and the ego's need for self-justification and ego defense mechanisms from controlling one's life. Inspired to develop spiritual links and energetic communication through increased self-awareness and higher sensory perception, to increase personal discernment and inner clarity. Some people may experience a variety of what mainstream calls paranormal experiences that may be confusing or scary without context. This is common occurrence among starseeds, indigos, or those on the spiritual ascension and awakening path. As humans become multidimensional, they develop psychic sensitivity and may sense other energies, communications, and entities that exist in multiple dimensions. Some of these can be labeled as ghosts, guides, angels or devils, ETs, and aliens. Unfortunately, the current medical health service system refuses to acknowledge spiritual awakening as a natural process of human evolution and labels its symptoms as a disease or pathological condition. Without proper ascension context and spiritual training, persons undergoing natural spiritual awakening or Kundalini phenomena can accelerate these pathological conditions from states of terror, which may lead to psychotic breaks. Phase 2. Dropping ego and questioning beliefs. This is the path of learning to honor divine will over the ego personality experiences of free will. One learns that fears and conflicts must be released to be attuned to the cosmic sovereign law, which is upheld for all. This begins comprehending group consciousness, and that requires service to others, as aligned to the universal laws in order for spiritual progression to continue to develop one's consciousness. Development of love and heart-centered qualities in giving unconditional love and compassion to others. Activation of the first levels of the spiritual bodies, 4, 5, 6 dimensional soul matrix. Mind focused on deeper illumination from soul and works to achieve greater levels of illumination into beingness as the observer point, responding to the awareness of issues of multidimensional consciousness, awareness to a greater world within purpose of a cosmic and universal time matrix, universal structure. Mind relinquishes control to divine illumination, which develops from the intuitional aspects of the soul function as the soul becomes embodied. Ego dismantling is common, where a new context for the consciousness reality must be verified for the awakening individual in order to reprogram and clear false belief systems and false ego identities that have been created. This pushes the individual to examine belief systems, social structures, and their place within the larger whole. Phase 3. 3D Karmic Wheel Transcendence, Monadic Initiation. In the ES context of the Ascension, this is the polarity integrator path of the Christus Sophia, which is the path of the 12D ray and its 12D holographic blueprint, the silicate matrix. This leads to progressive spiritual development and stages of sacred marriage with God to eventually evolve into the Hieros Gamos, or Risen Christus Sophia. This is the path of God's Sovereign Free, or GSF. Divine Will, expressed as inner spiritual and creation force through the physical vehicle, integrated between the four main layers: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. This is the embodiment of the soul intelligence, and its purpose begins to make itself known in the material world. Monadic activation brings awareness of experiences of 7D planetary consciousness, otherworldly beings, galactic history, and the existence of such holographic architecture as crucifixion implants. Achievement of the polarity synthesis of all archetypes and rays through the study of the chakra system, thus learning to unify chakra energies and merge into higher consciousness of the monad, thus learning self-mastery of personal energy field through all 7 primary chakras and their centers of intelligence. Response to the center of all union, God Source, threefold founder flame, and 0 point, which transcends time and dimensionalization. Embodies divine will in action, is the will to God as service to others. This is the will to good, and the embodied monadic level functions. Phase 4. Planetary leadership or guardian consciousness. Agreement to facilitate interactively as a vehicle of cosmic sovereign law of one as the universal divine plan in action, the crystal star of cosmic Christ consciousness. Having developed higher sensory perception to read energy signatures and various group agendas, level of completing spiritual warrior training of the polarity duality consciousness existing in the lower form worlds, a master of comprehending the illusion and deception of the dark force between the light force, mastery over mental and emotional functions to direct higher light forces of transformation as directed by the cosmic sovereign law of one, which operates as the universal divine plan in action. Freed of suffering by loss of attachments to the material world. Communication with other life forms extra-dimensional or otherworldly intelligence. And now, guidelines in planetary leadership. Leadership or stewards learn energetic discernment and the energetic mastery of the main polarities of lower and higher self without exception. A master in the instinctual body versus intuitional body, and to discern its functions through accurate discernment of mental and emotional impulses in comparison to higher mental and spiritual body functions. A master of lower mind versus higher mind. A master of desire body impulses versus spiritual impulse from soul and the higher spirit hierarchy. Intent, consent, and authority are with Christ. A master of discernment with selfish motives, service to self, personal aspiration versus divine inspiration and group consciousness purposes. A master of energetic balance of polarities through harmlessness, thus mastering states of peace, bliss, compassion, and harmony with self and others. Defender spiritual warrior training is the energetic self-mastery to accept the knowledge beyond the parameter of one's ego personality acceptance. Be completely inner directed rather than outer directed, and to learn stewardship, releasing all ownership over this knowledge that has been given. Ascension knowledge belongs to all humanity, the planet and the universe. One must apply spiritual knowledge to expand one's consciousness and to learn planetary leadership through service to others. One must comprehend the mechanics of the hologram, its illusion, the negative ego, and be a master to discern the dynamics of the agendas of both the dark and light. You cannot hide or deny darkness exists, and you cannot dance with it in light because it is an imposter spirit. It exists purely to manipulate, distort, and descend the light through deception, parasitism, and consumptive modeling. The compassionate witness that holds perfect neutrality is the point of power. The best way to feed the darkness of satanic and Luciferian forces is to deny that it exists, to go beyond love and light syndrome, the first stages of spiritual awakening, and to become spiritually integrated. One must learn to balance the spiritual wisdom of accepting this higher knowledge. 3 stages of the spiritual path has been described in esoteric literature as 1. The hall of ignorance, identification with the material world and use of outgoing organs of perception. 2. The hall of learning, restlessness, and the search for the knowledge of the self or soul. 3. The hall of wisdom, realization, expansion of consciousness, and identification with the spiritual self. When we begin the self-inquiry and examination process by asking the deep questions of ourselves, it marks the period in the life of a person entering the search for the knowledge of the self and soul. At the entering of the hall of learning, we began to ascertain our character development, assessing our weaknesses and contemplating what we want to achieve in our lifetime. Each spiritual aspirant is known and recognized in the other worlds by the brilliance of our light held within the human energy field. The magnitude of the light, the color, rate of vibration, the purity of tone and color are all indicators of the evolution of the soul. The more evolved soul will attract and magnetize many other beings and life forms from multidimensional existences. There are hierarchies of light to influence and support mankind on their journey to higher consciousness and building higher planetary evolution. These beings play a role in the personal soul development and evolution through the planes, whether one is consciously aware of their presence or not. Currently, with the forces of evolution rapidly accelerated at the end of the planetary cycle of creation as the plan for Earth, many humans on the planet have moved through these planes into higher realms by virtue of necessity rather than seeking inward for spiritual truth. As the planet evolves and shifts to higher frequency, the human being had to adapt to the incoming energies and merged with these planes, creating a natural process of evolution without needing to be consciously aware of that actually transpiring. Most human beings on the planet today are integrated through the third, fourth, and fifth levels of initiation or plane. Since most persons incarnated now have experienced many lifetimes through their soul group, many incarnated into a third dimensional template body and plane of consciousness. This means they have already completed the integration of the first and second initiations through other incarnations or soul groups. Antidote to mind control. How to relabel thoughts as positive or negative. This is a chapter that you can find in the essential glossary pages. The antidote to mind control is psycho-emotional centering. I'm not going to use the entire page dedicated. I will say that developing self-awareness does not happen through reading books or mental concepts. It is through specific activities and feeling experiences that we are able to increase our power of observation. It is the power of observation or witnessing that gives us the personal power to change our core beliefs. When we are made aware of them, that may be destructive or create blockages to connect with our inner spirit. Three questions. How do your thoughts and words impact how you feel? How do your instinctual desires unconsciously drive your behaviors? How do hidden core beliefs affect your day-to-day happiness? Think about that. And now, a good emotional tool for immediate circumstances. 1. Patience. Pause, step back, take a breath. 2. Surrender to the process. The divine is at work again. Do not know why or what, but okay, I will get myself out of the way. 3. Acceptance. I may not like it, but that is okay. I am at peace because something larger is at work. 4. Forgiveness. Tell the story, feel your feelings, revalue them, and shift perspective. 5. Be here now. Be here now. Be here now. And now, we are about to end this session, and we will do that with an exercise. Emotional release technique. Catharsis. For a complete emotional release, you may want to ask yourself a few questions about a few of the social experiences creating frustrations. After each question is completed and you have answered it, preference to write it out. Repeat out loud step A. So the step A, even though I feel or have this answer to each question, I deeply and completely accept myself. So first question. What is your payoff for your disease pain? My answer was, I feel not any payoff, only imbalances and fear. For the second, what people do you need to forgive? I wrote, I need to forgive myself because it's me allowing others to hurt me. What do you feel guilty for? I responded, honestly, by denying myself to fully engage with my natural powers of creation and for hurting others. Number 4. Do you have the wisdom to know the difference? I responded, yes, I do have the wisdom to discern. 5. What can you change? What do you need to accept? I responded, change myself, accept myself fully. Number 6. Are you being totally honest with yourself? And I responded, yes, I am. So the step B we use to repattern, refocus every time you have an anxious or negative thought. Stated as your intention in the I am when you wake up. I stand in truth. I move forward with joy. I have spiritual understanding. As I told you in the beginning, this was my ascension process for the last month. It was a quite interesting process and you saw or you listened that I even have my questions answered. So this is truly a session in which, if you want to, you can do it yourself and you can have excellent results. Because what I'm experiencing is a total shift, not in consciousness, but honestly in life itself. I see people going around, they don't know what they want, but they know they want peace, you know? They don't know what they want, but they know they want peace. But they keep on saying that this is what we have, this is what there is. The world as we see, with war, it cannot be done like that. And I don't see it like that. I see the world as peaceful, as a place of unity, love, respect, freedom, taking care of what's here. Because a lot of people out there are waking up. And that is so beautiful to experience. See the people waking up at the same time that I'm doing my exercises here and sharing them with you, in order for you, or some of you, to have a guideline to work upon your betterment and the betterment of everything in general. Because if you connect to Mother Earth and the morphogenetic fields that exist inside and outside the Mother Earths, and you give them love and good vibes, you are already helping a lot. Just by saying, I am grateful. I am grateful for all that is happening in my life right now, and I'm going to take it as a learning. I'm going to see the worst parts of it and how these worst parts are revealing that I can be so much more. That life itself can be so much more. I take these teachings because I understand that Crystal Aegis pages, for me, they were really eye-opening and a transformative tool that today serves me even to channel what is happening, what happened, and what will happen in the nearby future. Yes. Higher sensory perception. And I did, and it's true, I did try a lot of techniques, different groups and attitudes, until I got to this stage. And this stage, I got into this stage fully, completely and totally 2 years ago. Within 2 years, I was capable of integrating so much of myself that I cannot even imagine. Because this last week, I was capable of integrating so much that I thought I was going insane. Again, that coping with reality was getting so hard. But then I realized why. Because that reality is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It is just like a remnant. It's a time remnant. Something that is there, holding the vibration, just because somebody's thinking about it. If you don't think about it, if you think that we live in a planet of peace, love, compassion, harmony, where we share our resources equally, where we party, where we have fun, because even in this type of scenario, somebody will get hurt, somebody will get sick, because that's life unfolding. But in this type of world, you can heal faster, you have more help to heal, and everything is for free. It's not just the teachings that are for free. Everything is for free. That's why we live in a free will section of creation. It's free will, right? So we are free to do whatever we please. But there are some creational laws, fundamental laws, that must be followed. That must be followed each day in order to maintain order and the perfect homeostasis. Yes, to reach perfection, it's like every professional on his area that wants to get into perfection, it needs to work and follow some rules. It's not difficult, I think. No, you don't have to kill yourself. I don't know, you can live your life freely in your cabin in the woods. And just by being the best version of yourself, you don't even need to deal with these teachings. Just by being the best version of yourself, you are already incarnating and delivering the codes of the law of one. Just to be the best version of yourself. Not get mad, not get angry. That's kind of difficult, right? That's why it is such a hard work that if we do it each day, it's not that hard work. It's like exercise. Start the exercise, and the first month it feels like, wow, everything hurts. But then if you continue on that, everything turns out to be quite good. You have more resistance, you feel better, you breathe better, you talk better, you have more energy. I don't know. It's all a matter of betterment. And the time now asks for betterment. With all the wars going on out there and economical crash, because if we were running on fake money, now we are running on phantom money. Yeah, because the economical system has crashed brutally. That's why there is so much inflation and recession. Things that cannot be done, but we cannot stop everything, can we? No. So see how the system of domination and control was capable of fucking it up so good, even for them. It's incredible to see. Yeah, and more that will come up in the next months, because all of this climatic agenda, it's going down, right? Because it doesn't work. And there is one thing that I'm really happy about, because I have some years in this Earth planet, and there's one thing that really made me think was the plastic, because I saw the transition from glass to plastic. And when you had glass, you had education, you had like, watch out, you care about the crystal, don't break the crystal, you know? When plastic was introduced, everything was really fast, everything was going to the earth. And even though they said that plastic was one of the worst materials to degrade, to get it break down into a point that earth could assimilate it, and then you have everything that came with it. And now we are going back to glass. See how everything turns out to be fake, and people say, we are enough of this, we cannot live with this anymore, and we want a fix, and we are about to take the streets and fix it. And so they are. And we can see how the puppet masters work their way through, which is incredible to see, right? Everybody in the United Nations speaking about peace, we want peace, but at the same time, we need the war because somebody has done something to the others and we don't know what, but in there, they are all eating and having fun with each other, while others are being slaughtered. In this, we see it today in a quite instantaneous way. Well, folks, it's been a beautiful session. I'm really inspired to go and keep on talking for 1 hour more, but we cannot do that, can we? This is already quite a long session, and it's time to bring you all into this reality. It has been a pleasure to be with you again, and this is Dark Arts Training, and I am Ra, the Yellow Crystal Warrior again, 116, the Pathfinder. And it's a pleasure to be with you, dear beautiful souls, made of love and light. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.